Let it
Hey, 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 wake up. Come on in. Good to see you on, Dominique. Danielle, look at all these 702s. Camille, Diana, come on, 7:02 p.m. And look at you, Candy. Look at that. Look at that. What can I say? Come on in, Carol. Welcome, welcome. Are y'all ready for Saturday night? Good evening, Carmen. Good evening, Jerry. Come on in. Let me see. Who can I keep up with here on Instagram? I see you, Irene, Coco Lane, Yolanda, the Bishop. Is that Kamo, the nonprofit? Woo! What did they do to my glasses? Come on in. Mishi, Mike's Wills, Yolanda Dawson, Mike's Mills. Praise the Lord. Come on in. Let's go. Let's get it. I'm going to sip on some of this sweet tea. So refreshing. Hello, Kevin. How are you? Our solutionist gal is on. Ebony, come on, Brittany, Lisa, come on, Chevelle, Lydia Cordova, how is your recovery going? Tasha Ross, Maria, Pastor D, come on in, Leah, Gwen, Rochelle, Chevelle, good evening, Rodney, good evening, come on in, we're spreading the table tonight, where the feast of the Lord is going on. Come on. We're spreading the table tonight. Come on, Destiny. It's your birthday and you're with us, sweet and 23. And you chose to be with us younger women. I'm so proud of you. Good evening, Latanya. Shout out to Mark Peterson and his recuperation. Hey, Britt. I think it's the medication. Peyton said to me today, what is wrong with you? But y'all know I'm hyper. Though that does ministry with me, y'all know that I am very hyper. I tend to live on the hyper end. Hello, Kingdom Health. Natasha Moore. Where's my babies? Love to you, Cheryl Johnson. Dr. Vanessa, hello. Ubi from Canada, welcome. Come on, Lisa Palmer. Come on, is the Apostles' House in the house? Come on, if you're from the Apostles' House, I want you to put TAH on the screen. Let's show some Apostles' House love. Come on, my apostolic disciples. Where you at? He's there listening. Emir. Hello, sweetheart. TAH in the house. Come on, show some love for the house. Represent the house. Yes. Let's represent the house. Let's go. Come on, y'all. I almost, Brittany, you should see the second one. Maybe I'll wear it tomorrow because it's Sunday, church day. Maybe I'll wear it tomorrow. But the other one, I got two other ones for us too. TAH in the house. Come on in. There's only 45 of us in right now. We're going to just laugh and sing and play a little bit longer. Give a few more seconds for them to come in. And then we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for those on Instagram. We're starting out slow, but I've started ministry with no friends and absolutely zero family. So I despise not strong beginnings. My influence isn't geared towards the masses. The masses will come because my influence is to help and heal a broken nation, a broken people, to begin to heal the soul of the family. That's my goal. And we're going to make it big because this is what people need. This is what we need. How is everyone Saturday doing? Can you take a moment and like and share for me? Can you take a moment and hit like and share for me? Let me see if I can do it. I always wondered how I could do it. I guess I have to go in from my phone. Let's hit like and share. Let's get this started. We're going to be taking off in a few minutes. Well. Come on in. We're up to 57. Come on, let's go. Let's make it happen. I'm waiting. Let's go. Come on, like and share. 14 shares happening on my main page with 15 likes and hearts. Thank you. Good evening, Charlene. I see you checking in. Good evening. Let's make it happen tonight. They're going to see friend requests and shares from me. They're going to be like, uh-oh, we ain't messing with this lady tonight. Come on in. We've set a table. Let's get it. Come on, family. Come on, come on, come on. No better place you'd want to be. Saturday night, keep you out of trouble. Let's go. How could somebody have a name called Facebook user? Is that weird? It seems almost stalkish, right? Like fake user stuff, I'd say. All right, let's get it started. How are you? It's Saturday night. You know what I think is happening? Everybody's inboxing me about this. They loving this excitement tonight. Hello, Karen. Hello, Brenda Berry. You know what I think is going on? This morning, my husband had like a French toast. I don't know what I want to call it. French toast fever. He had like a French toast, like huge craving for it. So he made French toast, and I think he made it like, it seemed like never-ending buffet plates. He just, anybody want French toast? No one answered. And next thing you know, he's in the living room and he goes back again. He's like, I'm going to make some more French toast. I'm like, okay, that's like 2 or 4 pieces already. And he went back in and he made more. And then the next thing you know, we were eating French toast and we asked not for French toast. So we had French toast. And then I watched a quick movie after I finished with clients this morning. Then Peyton wanted to run out. So we ran out and we played in the makeup store. I love the makeup store. And then we came back and we started having hot for Sunday night. So can you imagine going from French toast to hot for Sundays? I think that's why I'm like this. And so I didn't have a chance to make mine yet. So I will be having a hot for Sunday when we hang up tonight. And I'm going to run up my driveway a couple times after that. 76 in here, 30 are liking. Come on and help us out. Sugar overload. So tomorrow we're probably going to be like that. Yes, Minister Brittany. He had brunch all day long. I can't tell you how many people. Now he can't get up. He's stuck now. He just comes walking by. Oh, you got the lighting set up? Now, if you was working for Ellen DeGeneres, you wouldn't have showed up like that. Chantel, Prudence, good evening. Good evening, Joel. All right. He's giving a shout out. Come on, Vanessa. Come on. Carmen Jones said she's been hacked. Oh, I can't stand it. Good evening, Constance. Hartford, Connecticut in the house. Is TAH in the house? Is TAH in the house tonight? Yolanda Dawson, I see you. Damien, hello. Hello, Daniel Woodard. This is what you need, Charlene, and we got you. Lasonia, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Kareem, hello. Good evening. All right, let's get started. How are you on this Saturday, the 28th of January in the year of our Lord 2023? On Detox Night 27, come on into the Detox Room. Come on into the Detox Room. Those that are showing us love over on Instagram, shout out on Instagram. Welcome. Hello, everyone, to the Detox Room. We're going to detox tonight. Thank you to all of those that are checking in on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Twitter's just the angry people to me. Rochelle got her book last night. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. I have one in front of me, but I don't have the other two. We got the blue, we have the green, and we have the red. Let's get it. Come on into the Detox Room. Maybe that's what we should post when we share it to people, right? Come on into the Detox Room. Charlene, my schedule is open, waiting for you. Good evening, Karen. All right, so how we doing on a Saturday night? Y'all ready to get started? How did we do on last night? Did y'all survive last night? Yes, you did. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. This anesthesia is some good stuff. I'm so glad to have y'all here with me tonight. Y'all make this winter in New England, this January, sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Come on in the Detox Room. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Come see what we have for you in the Detox Room. So we've been dealing with relationships, and we've been talking about how tricky it is to maneuver through relationships because all relationships require one main ingredient: humans. Then you hear womp, womp, womp. All relationships require one ingredient, and it's humans. After that, everything else has to be initiated. It has to be worked toward. Mutual respect, which brings in boundaries, trust, communication, honesty, loyalty, love in some cases. If you're in a business situation, at least love for the work you do, love for the brand, a love for the vision. But all relationships require one main ingredient, and it's human. And that means we're not flawless. That means we're going to do some stupid things, some really, really stupid things. We're going to say the wrong thing. We're going to do the wrong thing. And sometimes we may not even realize it. So because of those ingredients all mixed together, we are going to have what's called conflict. Conflict. And many of us have not been taught the power that comes from conflict. Conflict can be the bounce. It can be the launching place for the strongest relationships you can ever have, because you do not know the depth of anything that you have without conflict. Conflict is powerful. Don't dismantle and destroy things because of the conflict that's in it. The conflict. Don't throw things away because of conflict. Woo-wee. Y'all like my new lipstick color tonight? Y'all should see my eyes. I got some blue glitter on. I love playing in makeup. Such a tomboy with a makeup fiend. Conflict is powerful. And when conflict shows up, it is testing the components of the relationships. Yes, it is. It's testing the components of the relationship. What do I mean by that? Conflict only comes to launch the relationship into the next realm. And if the two individuals, I'm just teasing with you sisters tonight with the lipstick. Hang on, my brothers. My sugar level is going to drop in a minute and we'll be cruising at a safe altitude. But right now we're going high. Yeah, conflict. That's right, Manny Davis on YouTube. He said, don't throw things away because of the conflict. Don't do it. Conflict is necessary. It pivots the relationship and it can go one way or the other. It can be doomed and gloomed. It can turn into war, or it can turn into the greatest conflict resolution of that time for that relationship. Don't throw it away. Conflict is necessary. A lot of the problem, the stress that comes in with conflict is our defense mechanisms, our coping mechanisms. How do we cope? Have we learned to cope either by experience? You know, experience is the worst experience. Experience is the worst experience. You don't want to learn trial by error. You want to learn through the trial and through the error. If after trial and error, you just keep doing trial and error, we call that process of elimination. Do you know what process of elimination means? I'm going to keep trying the process and eliminate things as I go. Sounds familiar? 40 years in the wilderness. We just keep trying things until we find the right thing. You don't want to live a life on process of elimination. You don't want to live a life learning by every trial and every error, because if you don't learn by the second trial or the second error, or from the first trial or the first error, this could be going on for years, costing you money, heartache, stress, networks, connections, love, romantic relationships, business opportunities, long supporting friends. What you want to do, you understand that there's going to be a trial and there's going to be a lesson. That's called life. Trial and lesson. The third component to trial and lesson must be learned. I cannot just keep going through trial and lessons and not learning. That's the best teacher, is when you've learned through your trials and your errors. You know, saying I learned trial by error is like saying, I'm going to throw these keys up in the air, and if they fall on my right side, I should buy the car. If they fall on the left side, then I shouldn't buy the car. And then they fall on the left side and you're like, I don't like the answer. I'm going to try it again. You just keep throwing things up in the air and seeing where they land and trying to control and manipulate which way things are going to go. You don't want to do that. You need to learn. It's about learning. Life is about learning. So when conflict shows up, it's a pivot. Conflict shows up, it's a pivot. It's showing you how to pivot through this now. So someone has to be ready to be skilled at communication, because you know the most prominent piece of active communication is not speaking. The most prominent component of active communication, active listening, is listening. The hearing of the word, not the speaking and the speaking of the word. People have sat in churches all their lives and only learned what they wanted to learn. So when conflict comes up, it's time to pivot. The problem is now you're confronted with your defense mechanisms. You're confronted now with your coping skills. Are you coping through life, through experiences and trial by error? Are you copying what was done before you in some of these most dysfunctional homes that we came out of? Some of us are lucky we made it past 9 months. How many times did they drop us? And now we're carrying their behaviors and, oh, I got this thing right. I'm doing this thing right. Something must be right because one part of the 4 pieces of your life has come together and you're failing on the other 3. So we're learning now more about ourselves. It's called metacognition. Metacognition. It's what you don't know that you don't know about yourself. I don't know what I don't know. And that's why we are all here tonight. So welcome, everyone. I had a chance to share and like, so some of y'all probably got some posts from me. And it's just love. I was just sharing some love with you. All right, so it's offering time. Let's go ahead and sow our offering. Do we know what our offering is on the detox room? Our offering is to hit that little thumbs up or hit that little heart button. Hit that thumbs up or hit that heart button. Hit that like over on YouTube and on Instagram. Hit that like. It's offering time. Do I need to get some good offering music? It's so good when you have the best seat in the house. All you have to do is just tap the screen. Heart and like and like. So tonight we're going to breeze on down the block because we passed a couple of houses in the neighborhood last night. And we passed stonewalling, right? That emotional, abusive person. We made our way on over to displacement. Tonight, we're going to talk about displacement. Have you ever taken your work frustrations out on your partner? Where are you at? Have you ever taken your work frustrations out on your partner? I got you, Kevin. We can do that. Have you ever taken out your work frustrations on your partner, your roommates, your pets, the cars on the road, the person at the gas station? Oh, come on. I told a policeman off before because I took my work stress out on them. Have you ever taken your work frustrations out on your blank? If so, then you have exhibited what's called displacement. Displacement. Displacement is the act of redirecting negative emotions and thoughts from their source and acting them out on a less threatening subject. See how we know what we're doing on this one? Displacement is the action of redirecting our negative emotions and thoughts from the source and acting them out on a less threatening subject. Sounds a little bit like bullying, right? Maybe a milder version. Yes, displaced anger. Come on, Dawson Adult Daycare. Yes. Displaced anger. We do it a lot. The act of redirecting negative emotions and acting them out on a less threatening subject. You see how some kids are at the hands of abusive parents? They're displacing their anger with their job or their lack of success in their lives, maybe a traumatized childhood of their own, and they come home and they displace that anger on their children. People who work toxic, stressful, or just frustrating jobs are usually not in a position to work out the issues with their boss. Isn't that the truth? How many of y'all are frustrated in church and you don't have anywhere to take your frustration to, or you're passive aggressive and you won't share it where it can be shared, but you'd rather make a gossip mill about that wonderful church you joined and you begin to tear it down with your own hands? Because you're passive aggressive instead of talking to the voices that can actually have some connection and change with the powers that be, you'd rather start a fire in the pews. Ooh, Jesus, somebody better preach. So when we work in toxic, stressful, or just frustrating jobs, we are usually not in a position to work out our issues with our bosses, our overseers, our leadership. Perhaps your boss is not understanding, sadly, but often more true than not, or is too imposing to even approach. Gossip. That's right, Pastor D. Gossip. Fire in the pews. That's some good sweet tea. They come home angry, but work all over their shoulders. They take it out on their partners and their children, who are less likely to be a threat. Obviously, this can quickly hurt a relationship. And in many cases, the victim or victims of displacement has done nothing to deserve such a reaction. This can leave them hurt and confused, and those who use displacement may find minor issues to use to take out their anger on others. They can even wear their partner down so they don't even kick back with a response. They wear them down with their displacement, and little by little push the partner, the trust, the respect, crossing all boundaries. They push their partner further and further away. The common denominator that we've had in the last 2 nights on these poor coping mechanisms that are showing up in our relationships, the common denominator has been self-sabotage. Have y'all noticed that? The common denominator has been self-sabotage. We're going to move on because we are on a countdown now. It's Saturday. We have Sunday night, Monday night, and Tuesday night. We have 3 nights left of So Detox. How many of y'all have not ever finished a book before? We're kind of like all over. We read from the back to the front, or we read the first chapter and we put it down, or you read kind of skimming through the whole book. You look for the parts of the chapters that you like, because this is going to be your satisfaction, especially for procrastinators. You're going to finish this book. You're going to go through it one whole time with us in these 30 days. And then hopefully you're going to sign up for some life coaching. And then we're going to go through it again with you and add in, like Kevin said, he'd like some help with communication. So we can add in when we get to, let's just say, the passive aggressive subject, we can add in a component and help out with some communication. Maybe some of y'all are like, no, I want to park right here on this anger. I want to park right here on being defensive. No, I know I need to spend a couple of months in passive aggressive. Yeah. We're going to park and we're going to get you the help that you need. Mental health coaching is here for your issues, and see your therapist on your illnesses. You can have flaws in your personality. See us. If you have a personality disorder, you see a therapist. So the next part that can cause conflict in your love life or your friendship life is regression. Regression. Have you experienced backward movement in your personality? Have you experienced backward motion in your personality? Or in the personality of someone you love? Anyone have any backward movement? I think I see all the ones around me. We're kind of moving forward now. I'm pretty happy with the circle around me moving forward, but I stay on them. Perhaps a situation pushed you to behave as though you were living 10 years prior, or your significant other has started acting incredibly selfish and childish. If so, you may be experiencing or witnessing regression. I'm glad you asked, Kevin. To regress is to go backward. Do you ever feel like you exhibit immature, childlike behaviors when you are under a tremendous amount of stress? You may be displaying the defense mechanism of regression. If you are under stress, whether it relates to your relationship or not, you might notice yourself acting clingy. For example, you might really get upset when your partner leaves you for an hour or a night or two. Or you might have a problem that they're going to Bible study, or they are pursuing a leadership role or a clergy role in the church, and you give them static. Or you don't want them to go to the men's prayer because it's your date night. But at the same time, you're complaining that you don't see their pursuit for God, their hunger for God, their passion for God. But when there's things going on for men's night, all of a sudden now you kind of want him home. And you start working out your daddy issues when it's his night to go out with the men and do the things that Christian men or men of whatever faith they're in need to do together. How important it is. We regress when we should be pushing them forward. And this, I want to call it a tit for tat, but I see this in relationships and marriages so much. It's like as soon as one starts pursuing God or a higher calling in God, the other one starts to regress and will regress the relationship and ultimately destroy any advantages that they had in their growth with Christ or in their ministry and calling. Yeah, it's really hurtful. A couple of spouses have said it, like it seems as soon as I want to dig my feet in and I want to lead a prayer group, or I want to host a men's fellowship at the house, or I want to not just be a member in the pew now. I actually want to take on some responsibility. I want to disciple some other people. Spouses will get upset and they'll start regressing. And then they'll make you feel like you're doing something wrong when you're going to church. I don't know about y'all, but my first marriage, I wasn't going to church. I was at happy hour. I was at social hour. I was at round robin hour. I was at Friday night hour. I was at Saturday evening hour. I was at Saturday night after hour. So for me, you want to go where? Baby, do you want me to iron your pants? You want to go to church? Let me iron your pants. Baby, you got pocket money? I don't want you to stop at the ATM. It's not safe. You want some money for your pocket? You want to have the men over here one night for men's fellowship? You support it. But for someone who falls into this regression behavior, they're going to regress and they're going to sabotage the very thing they want from their wife, the very thing they want from their husband. And every time something comes up as an opportunity for them to move forward, there's the self-sabotage. And as a pastor, I see it over and over and over again. And I have to walk with, it's like bare feet walking on glass. I have to walk very carefully because either way, I'm going to get cut. You know that. Either way, you're going to get cut. But you want to say to the person so nicely, like, I remember when you were single, this is what you wanted. You wanted a man that did this. Now, why are you pursuing this and now you're sabotaging? But I'm not. It just seems like, he's working all the time. And then when he's not, he's in church. Hello? I don't understand here. And I've seen it. And I've seen it so, I'm going to use the word diabolical. I've seen it so diabolical that I've seen one pursue, the other regress, and then the other spouse will fall back, and then this one will pursue, and this one will start raising some Cain and pull them back, and they'll regress. And either they're not in church or they're completely not with God anymore. And it's childlike behavior, working out their daddy issues and other things within their marriage. And it's so disappointing. You hear the Lord saying, who hindered you? What hindered you? And this wouldn't be a matter of putting God or church before family. We're talking about a men's prayer night. We're talking about running a meeting with the ministers. We're talking about revival 5 nights straight. See, y'all didn't come from the type of church I come in. I don't even know churches that could have 5 nights of revival because no one would probably be there but the pastor and the elders. We used to do 5 nights revival, 30 nights of prayer, 30 nights of prayer and consecration, and everybody has to come to the church. Now, folks will be like, I don't need Jesus until my marriage is in trouble, until we got financial troubles or somebody's deathly ill. Then I need the church. Until then, Jesus, stay out of my business. I want a man of God, but I don't want a man of God that's in the church without me. How can someone grow if every time they're in their devotions, their spouse is there with them? Yeah, childlike behavior. And it shows up heavily in marriages. Remember, we're dealing with relationships tonight. This is the series that we're in. I think we need to do it again, Corindus. She said, I did. We did 30 days. I think 30 days of prayer would be good. People pick and choose when they come in. We've got enough ministers at our church to open it up one every night so no one gets burnt out doing God's work. People need to get back to the altar. We've lost our entire minds. Do y'all see another child broke his teacher's leg? In today's news, there's another child, I'm not sure of his age, but he broke his teacher's leg. We pray right now for the Nichols family, for the young man that was murdered by the police officers. This world is in trouble. People do not know how to handle conflict. We regress. We regress and we go back to gang-like behavior. We regress. We go back to childlike behavior. You might get really upset when your partner leaves for an evening, for a night or two. Baby, that's not love. That's daddy issues. That's mommy issues. If you act like this, if you act like it's the end of the world when your partner goes out for just a night on the town, whatever that business could be, church or clubs, whatever they get into, or for the weekend, you will, let me get closer, you will end up pushing your spouse away. I don't care if it takes 10 years or 20 years, this behavior will catch up with you. No one's in love that long that they're going to tolerate that type of smothering. This type of behavior, it's in my book. Come on, I'm reading right from my own book. It's in my book. This type of behavior is not cute. Stop it. This type of behavior is not cute. And when it goes on for too long, you will end up sabotaging or losing that relationship. You might be trying to control them cheating on you or having an affair on you. Whew, girl, do you know? Brother, do you know? The easiest place to have an affair is in the workplace. And you keep calling them all day because you understand things can happen on the workplace. But you don't understand how simple it is to have an affair. You're not going to stop someone. If it's in them and they do it, leave them. But to live your life worrying about someone constantly cheating on you or someone playing behind your back, you cannot. It would not be worth it. If you're caught on once, you'll probably miss the other 2 or 3 times. It's self-sabotaging. It's emotionally and psychologically stressing. It's stress on your physical body. It's too much. And it is not cute. And when it goes on for too long, it will sabotage your emotional, mental, physical health and the relationship. You got to seek some help. You got to talk to someone and find out. When they leave, are you feeling abandoned? When they leave, do you feel like they're never going to come back? Do you have a low value system for yourself? Do you have low self-esteem? Do you feel as though when they leave, they're going to find someone better because you still don't know why they are with you? Yeah, come on, people. If you don't know why your loved one is with you, you are always going to be insecure about everything they do. I said to my husband the other day, I said, do you love me? He said, yeah. I said, what do you love about me? He looked at me like, oh my God, in the middle of my program. And what do you love about me? I want to hear, what do you love? Why is that important? Because if you don't know what someone loves about you, and you don't know that you have this thing about you that is lovable, you're always going to be insecure about the relationship. And you're going to push people away. I've seen this in girl-to-girl friends relationship, not love relationships, just girl-to-girl relationships. Controlling within the friendships. How a regression applies to your relationship, I'm glad you asked. It can be confusing for those in a relationship to experience regression firsthand or witness it in a significant other. Imagine your loved one suddenly acting out or as though they were a child. This can cause some complications in a relationship. When your partner is suddenly throwing temper tantrums that are uncharacteristic of them, has picked up a former bad habit, or even as far as wetting the bed, the relationship can face more challenges than it was prepared for. Experiencing such drastic changes in a relationship can feel as though your significant other is no longer themselves. It is often difficult to remain in a relationship when the person you know is no longer acting like the person you love and care for. Put that on the screen, Ebony. Ooh, I felt that go down my entire body. It is often difficult to remain in a relationship when the person you know is no longer acting like the person you love and care for. If regression is altering your relationship, couples counseling might be a way for you to work on your relationship, yourself, and your loved one's regression. It may be necessary for the individual experience a regression also to have their own therapy sessions. Yes, Sharita, let it out. Please understand that therapy is a common and helpful tool in treating several relationships and individual problems and concerns. Seeking help is the best way to make it through psychological challenges in the best headspace. While there's no magic cure for these kinds of issues, putting in the effort and work to stay together or to be better together is key. Better together. You can't have one that's being better in a duo relationship. You want to be better together. If you are in a relationship right now and you are experiencing psychological challenges, especially like the ones that we're talking about right now, let's talk. Give us a call. Let's talk about it. Let's see if we can find you a therapist, get you two in a better headspace together. Because years later, you may regret not putting in the work in now. And then years down the road, you're like, Harry was really a good guy. I should have really tried to work it out with him. Betty was really a good woman. I should have just put in that effort to go to counseling with her, but I was just wrong and strong, arrogant, and just thinking I knew what was best. I want you to know this tonight before we leave. 3 issues that intensify regression. There are 3 issues that intensify regression. First, a partner may hold a powerful inhibition against wanting something that they do desire in the relationship. The more unavailable they are to be direct about that desire, the more this spouse will exhibit their desire through regressed behavior. And we talked about passive aggressive behavior. So if your partner is desiring something more in the relationship and they don't feel comfortable enough to express it, the more unable they are to be direct about this desire, the more their spouse will exhibit it through a regressed behavior. I've seen it in ministry. Yeah. Regressed behavior. Say one wants to go back to school, or one wants to quit their job and go after their dreams, and the other spouse isn't with it. An extreme example of this occurred with a wife who wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Unable to negotiate or problem solve about this directly with her husband, she became increasingly depressed and non-functional at work, until she was finally put on disability leave and forced to stay in the home. Secondly, Some partners have powerful inhibitions against even knowing what they want and desire. This results in their easily emerging with a partner, not activating their own thinking and becoming highly dependent on their spouse. And lastly, some partners feel wrong for expressing their desires and feel powerful guilt when they do express them. They may have come from homes where having personal desires was defined as being selfish or greedy. So these partners tend to regress in couple sessions in hopes that the other will read my mind. They also frequently withdraw from their sexual relationships rather than risking putting their desires into words. The inhibition of their desire and the non-action protects them from feeling the shame and or guilt of being wrong and bad. In all of the above issues, direct knowledge or expression of internal desires puts the client into internal conflict. The conflict exists between the want or desire and the internalized intrapsychic parent who says it is not okay to have your own wants and your own desires. As a result, regression to an earlier coping mechanism occurs, especially when one feels fears with being direct, or when they cannot allow themselves to want anything directly. Regression also occurs when a spouse distorts the behavior of their partner, and the behavior becomes a transference trigger. Partners who don't have the capacity or skill to check out their perceptions will move deeper into a transferentially triggered regression. Other partners hold tightly to regressive symbiotic beliefs like a relationship should be easy. I shouldn't have to work this hard. I shouldn't have to put my desires into words. Yes, you should. Relationships are not easy. And yes, two becoming one is very hard. I'm going to skip this next part because we don't have time for it. We're going to go to number 5, altruism. Number 5, altruism. This defense mechanism is a bit different from the others because it doesn't feature outright negative behaviors like the rest. When you engage in altruistic, I can't speak tonight, it's the sugar, behaviors, you use kindness towards others to diffuse an anxious situation. Come on now, where you at, people pleasers? Altruism, I got it. If you feel that your partner is upset with you, you might start overcompensating with niceness. Somebody put niceness up. This type of defense mechanism will kill a relationship in a different way than the rest. Altruism. When you are overly nice to your partner, every time you want to turn around a negative situation, your partner will begin to notice. And not only will they notice, they will get used to your behavior and used to it in a very unhealthy way. This may lead to your partner taking advantage of you and treating you unfairly. In the case that you feel there is a problem in your relationship, it's always better to be honest and talk about it with your partner rather than trying to resolve it in the least confrontational way possible. Do I have any altruistic people in here? Are you the one in the family or in your relationships that are always trying to please people by being nice? You're the one that's always diffusing things. It is a form of manipulation, believe it or not. It is a form. Yeah, there you go. Corinda said it. They will manipulate your response. It is a form of manipulation. Sinus medicine dries you out. Yeah. All right, come on. We got a few minutes left. We're only on 50 minutes. Let's hit denial. Denial in relationships. Denial is perhaps the most commonly known defense mechanism. Put that on the screen. So, for example, Destiny, just sidebar for a minute. I see you said, unfortunately, yes, I am. That's something I want you to write down in your book, circle it. And when we start working, I want you to make sure that we start working on that area with you and find out what is it about you that you don't know that makes you work in altruism. Make sure y'all are writing in your books, because this is going to help you when you come back around to work with us this year. Denial is perhaps the most commonly known defense mechanism. When someone is in denial, they are rejecting the current reality in front of them because it makes them uncomfortable. Instead of accepting the situation, they act as though it does not exist. This is a way to avoid the situation altogether because it is too distressing to acknowledge its existence. Denial. This can be quite damaging in relationships. Those who use denial as a defense mechanism often deny that they do or say anything that hurts someone. When confronted, the person in denial will act as though the things they did and said never happened. Depending on how conscious the person is of their actions, this could potentially lead to gaslighting. Gaslighting. Ignoring reality does not make it go away. Can you post that in your chat notes? Ignoring reality does not make it go away. Denial only pushes the situation farther down the road, often leading to bigger and more damaging problems. This defense also deteriorates relationships quickly as loved ones learn not to discuss their needs or any issues they have with you. But trust me, they are discussing it with someone else. And probably someone that you'd rather not have them discuss it with. So married people, people who are working towards marriage, it is very important to give that loved one that open ear space, that safe place with you. Because what they cannot talk about with you, it has to come out of their heart. And they're going to talk about it with someone else. And probably someone that would manipulate them, or begin to manipulate you, or do something to the relationship. Everyone doesn't have a safe place to talk to people outside of their spouse. So be very careful with that. Relationships quickly can be dissolved as loved ones learn not to discuss their needs or any issues that they have with their spouse. Have you ever tried to discuss your defense mechanism with a partner before? I want you to answer that question. Have you ever tried to discuss your defense mechanisms with a partner before? Yes or no? And then I want you to answer after that. I want you to tell me, how did it go? How did it go when you tried to discuss your defense mechanisms? Even if you got to work it out on the inside because you are fuming at that conversation with them, try to give them a safe place to talk. Try not to judge them. That's so hard to do. But once we can master that, it is so much easier for people to come to you. Very good. I'm reading everyone's comments. I see you on Facebook. I see you on YouTube. I'm reading everyone's comments. Good. Let me peek over here at Instagram. I don't think I can see y'all comments. I see you, Crystal. Ignoring reality doesn't make it go away. I see you, Mishi, saying the same thing. Word of Life is saying niceness. Better together. Okay, they're in it. They're in it. Thank y'all for holding down the Insta. If you are like most people, it probably didn't go as smoothly as you would have hoped. Because they think you're making excuses, then they want to judge you, so it can get nasty. One of the biggest challenges in any relationship is communicating effectively about difficult topics. And our defense mechanisms are often a big part of that. We all have them, but we don't always know how to talk about them in a way that our partner will understand. If you're not sure how to start the conversation, here are some tips. I got 5 minutes. I'm going to hit these tips and then we'll go from here. Here are some tips how to start the conversation. 1, be honest about your feelings. The first step is to be honest with yourself about how you're feeling with yourself. What are you afraid of? What are you trying to protect yourself from? Once you have a better understanding of your own feelings within your own self, you'll be in a better position to explain them to your partner. Everyone should probably circle this part because I want you to start being honest about your own feelings. Number 2, choose the right time to talk. Remember we talked about timing the other night? Choose the right time to talk. Try to pick a time when you both are relaxed and rested and don't have anything else on your mind. It's also important to be respectful of your partner's feelings. If they're not in the mood to talk about it right now, do not force the issue. Remember the win-win goal. Number 3, be open to hearing your partner's perspective. Your partner may have their own defense mechanisms, and they do, that you're not aware of, that they may not even be aware of. It's important to be open to hearing their side of the story and understanding where they're coming from. Yes, Brittany, timing. It's taken me years to learn that one. Number 4, here I go again. That's why I'm the life coach, right? Avoid blaming or judgment. This one you're going to be tweaking for a long time. Trust me. Avoid blaming and judgment. If you want your partner to be open to hearing what you have to say, it's important to avoid blaming or judging them. Sometimes you're not avoiding or judging or blaming them, but the words you're using, the way they're hearing it is that you are. So get them to understand, I'm not blaming or judging you. Does it sound like it? Okay, maybe I'm using the wrong word. This really is going to take some effort and some work. Y'all want some date night? Y'all better make some date nights about this. This is going to give you a relationship that will endure, putting the work in now. First, learning how not to blame or judge. Most of us, the words we use automatically bring a defense to someone else because we use words of judgment and words of blame, and that may not be our intent. Number 5, focus on the future. Try to focus on how you can work together. Remember, better together. How you can work together to overcome your defense mechanisms and build a stronger relationship. This is a team effort, and it's important to approach it with that mindset. Final thoughts? Did you identify with any of these defense mechanisms in your relationships? If you did, say yes. Have you begun to realize how they have, I'm going to say have, negatively affected your relationships? Is there anyone can say that you've noticed how they have affected your relationships negatively? Me too. Yep, absolutely. Me too. Come on, y'all. Let's get the honesty up front tonight. Having this awareness is the key to improving. If you identify with any of these behaviors, the good news is that you can develop healthier coping strategies by using mindfulness, doing your inner work, and working with a therapist, including a mental health coach. You can develop more mature defense mechanisms that are not harmful to your relationships. So what I would suggest is when you go back looking over chapter 5 tonight, write down the ones that you think have been a problem for you and put, underneath them, what would be a healthier coping mechanism for me in relationships? Because there's some defense mechanisms, hear me strong, that are reserved for relationships, meaning they don't come out until you're in a relationship. You may only have like 2 or 3 that come out in your work and with your girlfriends and, when you're dealing with things in life. But when you get into that domestic kind of love relationship, you may have some cousins coming up, because relationships are going to trigger all of those childhood things. Believe me. And you may wonder, why do I ruin my relationships? Why do I keep doing this? Because relationships are going to bring it out. And Carmen, we'd love to work with you. I really want to appreciate tonight all of those who had taken advantage of the discount coupon that we sent out, the coupon code, and have booked appointments. I see that all my coaches are booked. They're not booked up, but they're all booked, and you guys are taking advantage of it. You got 2 whole weeks left. I give you enough for 1 appointment every week for 3 weeks with them. I would get it in, check them out, find out who you'd like to work with in the beginning of the new year so that we can bless you with some greater opportunities. But the ones who are booking are probably going to be the ones that we're going to be able to offer the best discount to, because you were serious to start your work. So we want to be a part and help you invest. I've invested in 30 days. But we want to help you invest into the future, taking this to the next level in your life, not just leaving you at a 30-day detox. And then after the detox is like a fast. You go right back to the sugar and the meat and the garbage food again. We don't want that to happen. We want you to continue to eat from this table. So tomorrow night, we're going to deal with how to deal with our unhealthy coping mechanisms. And we're not going to have time to go through all of them. So I'm going to try and address as many as I can. Because Monday we want to hit narcissism. And then Tuesday, we're going to deal with how to overcome. So yeah, I'm not going to hit too much on tomorrow night, but we're going to hit chapter 6 tomorrow, chapter 7 by Monday, and chapter 8 on Tuesday. And then we are done with our 30 days. And then we will be looking forward to working with y'all one-on-one. We will be looking forward to working with you twice a week. We're going to come back on here and do some things twice a week. And I even want to do some lives. And if we can't pull you in through StreamYard, because it's only for people who are on desktop computers, I'm going to have y'all call in. I'm going to have you call in, and we're going to pull you in, and we're going to talk about your situation and answer your questions on a live. So we're going to keep this going all year long. I just hope that y'all are committed. Please continue to like and share. We're going to have 80 people in tonight, but we get a lot of replays. But please continue to like and share with us. And then the other thing is, I want to thank those who are sewing. I want to thank Vanessa Boland for sewing every single night after the meeting. She sews $10 every single night, and we are on our 27th night. Candy Oates, she sews different amounts all the time. Thank you, Candy, for your last offering. Brittany Lamb, another one who sews every single night after the detox, $10, $20. It's such a blessing. I want to thank y'all so much. It helps us to get the material in quicker, get the material out quicker, to order more merchandise, have more giveaways. I want to thank Vanessa, Candy, Brittany. I want to thank Carmen Jones for always sewing. Thank you, Carmen Jones. I want to thank you for someone that only goes by the Cash App name Miss MS period. Thank you for sewing $100. I don't know who you are, but thank you so much for believing in our work. I want to thank Latoya for sewing in as well. She's been sending in $20, helping us every single night. Janiyah Haynes, thank you so much. Sherry, thank you so much. Damien's been consistent with whatever he sends, he does it. Thank you so much. Jeanette Morales, thank you so much. No, that was Money Pay and asked for me, $23. Just thank y'all. I'm looking at all the names here. Just thank you all so much for all of your giving. I appreciate it. If you all wanted to even take a time tonight, if you're just not financially in a place to sow like the others, or you don't know what you want to sow $1. Everyone just go to your Cash App or your PayPal, sow a seed of $1. I promise you, it will return to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Will men give into your bosom? When you give on fertile ground, it is the thing that happens to you. $5, $10, $100, whatever it is that you have, it's a POMG. a peace of mind guarantee that it will be returned to you. I live my life that way. And in those seasons when it's dark, when we're not employed or we don't have assignments, COVID came. How did ministers survive during COVID when we weren't going out and teaching and doing workshops and ministering, travel, everything was shut down? It's the seed that we sow during all the harvest seasons that come back to us in the barren seasons. And it comes back pressed down, shaken together, and running over. We were promised that men would give unto our bosom. So if you all would just take an opportunity tonight, if you haven't given during these 27 days, sow $1, sow $5. Do it in good faith to support the work that we're doing here. We came up here and we're going to continue to be here, whether you give or not, because this is the calling of the Lord. But I want to challenge you tonight to take that opportunity. And then lastly, I want to ask, is there anyone on here in our audience, whether you're live with us now or you're on replay, do you have a church home that you attend? Doesn't matter what state you're in. I want to talk to you about an awesome opportunity that I'd like to introduce, but I'd like to know in the comments, whether you're on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, what's the other one? Or you're hearing us on our podcast. If that's you, tell me, do you have a church that you attend locally, whatever state you're in? If not, I really would like to talk to you and set up a meeting time, and I'd like to go over some things with you. Thank you, Joy Nolan, Facebook. She said, I sold $30. Thank you, Joy Nolan, so much. We appreciate it. Carmen Figueroa doesn't have a church. Carmen, I want to talk to you. Ebony, take down these names, please, even if it's in replay. If you do not have a local church home, maybe you're not going to go back into a church building, I want to talk to you. There is something that the Lord has impressed on my soul, and I want to introduce it to those that are not currently attending church. You are not going into a church building. Maybe you are in a different state. I would like to talk to you. I want to talk to you, Kevin. Hello, Lamar Collier. I want to talk to you, Carmen. I want to talk to y'all. There's an opportunity that God has placed in me to place with those who are not going into a church building. Maybe you live in a different state and you would love to be a part of the Soul Center Church, the Soul Detox Church that doesn't have a building. Maybe you'd like to be a part of the Apostles' House. We want to talk to you. Thank you, Miss Renee. We want to talk to you. Kevin said he wants to join the Apostles' House. That's who we want to talk to then. There's an opportunity that God has placed before me to be able to feed you and to provide constant growth for you, biblical growth, spiritual growth. We believe in the totality of man, the totality. There's a physical being, there's a spiritual being, and there's a soul being. We want to minister to that. And you don't have to come into a church building anymore. We want to come to you. But I'd like to talk to you about that. Lasonia, I want to talk to you. Yes, Brittany Lamb, I want to talk to you. And we want to talk to you and just appeal to you what the Lord has given us and see how we can be a blessing in your life. Okay? All hearts and minds clear, as we say. Come on, let's go ahead and prophesy to one another. What are we prophesying? Ready, go. 3 John 1 and 2. I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. God bless you. Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same station. Thank you. Let it out.